Good evening. It is Wednesday, December 13th, 2017. My name is Jacob.
And I'm Danielle.
And we are the Proteus Podcast, ideas in all shapes and forms.
So how are you doing?
I can't tell.
What do you mean you can't tell?
We have had the most ridiculous week in grocery history.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk
All
about
right.
something else.
So we're going to take a little bit of a detour from our past discussions and our current discussions of comic book movies and shows, even though we promise you that we have The Punisher coming up as well as Star Wars.
We do have those coming up, and just a reminder, we did start out as more than a comic book and movie channel, podcast. We did other things once, so this is that.
You know what we do? We talk about things that we love and find interesting.
It's true.
And it just so happens that we really love comic book movies.
And there's been so many of them.
And there's been so many of them.
We do not apologize for loving comic book movies.
That's right. So, if this is too nerdy for your like, well, you're our ones of listeners, so it doesn't really matter.
Not apologizing is in part of our manifesto or mission statement, actually.
That's right. So today we're going to go a little bit off the beaten path, and we're going to talk about some of the news stories that don't get enough attention.
Or possibly get too much attention.
The weird, the odd, how the heck did that happen?
So you want to lead out? What do you got?
Are you sure? Because I have like 10, and you probably only have like 3.
Well, you told me 3. We don't have time for 23.
I know, but I have more, so why don't you go first? That way you have a better chance that I don't have one of your stories.
So there's rapidly, perusing the news on short notice because I'm living the life of a madman right now.
We had a script for this week.
We did, but I thought we were doing this later. I didn't.
Okay.
I thought we had one in between here and there.
Okay.
So rapidly perusing the news, the first thing that jumped out to me as pure, news insanity is surgeon admits to burning initials into patients' livers during operations. Which immediately just sparks all sorts of deep and abiding questions like, was there anyone else in the room when this man had a liver exposed to the air? And so apparently a British surgeon admitted to using a laser. So now we've got lasers involved to carve his initials into 2 patients' livers during transplant operations.
It's like so there's a little bit of me. What's the point? Why? Did he say why?
Let's see here. He said that he made a mistake.
Yeah, he made a mistake, but obviously, right? That's like, why? It's like I'm marking my
the real question I have, though, is the tool he used, which is called apparently an argon beam coagulator, which is used to seal bleeding blood vessels with a laser beam.
I mean, doesn't that damage the liver?
Well, it's going to be a minor little bit of surface damage.
Okay, that guy's just messed up.
Right, and apparently you don't always just use it for bleeding, but they use the beam to sketch out an area of an operation. So, here, don't carve outside these lines, kind of a thing.
Okay.
So it says such brandings are not usually not harmful and would normally disappear, but apparently the female patient's liver didn't quite heal properly and they discovered the initials in a follow-up operation, which is how any of this was discovered. Who knows how many other people out there have the initials SB
so
lasered into their livers?
So he just fesses up to 2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
That guy, I'm sorry, that guy should lose his medical license.
Oh, he's losing his medical license. I'm sure of that.
That's
astonishing, though.
Decision making.
All right. That's.
I have one for you.
He's been working for 11 years as a liver, spleen, and pancreas surgeon, so he's probably dozens upon dozens of people have SB tattooed on their livers in laser.
So, do you want a medical one from me, or do you want something completely off kilter? Do you want to break from the medical weird?
Let's just go off kilter. Everything we do differently.
All right. So I'm gonna do. All right. Oklahoma City,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago, Dateline. A man in Reno walked into a convenience store and stole $400 worth of beef jerky and just walked out.
So he stole like 5 packages of jerky?
Like 5 packages. More than that.
Have you ever bought jerky? It's insane how expensive it is.
I have, but like this guy just walked in with a hoodie, a short sleeve hoodie, like loaded up on beef jerky, and then walked out the door. They have his face on like on cameras and everything, and it's like, yeah, the meat bandit. They have dubbed him the meat bandit, which seems to me like this guy doesn't. I don't know. How do you get that much jerky in your pants?
Well, if it was some high-end jerky.
This is like a 7-Eleven.
I feel like this bears research. Like, how much money does 7-Eleven charge for jerky? Is it, the good jerky? Because some jerky's like $12 a pack. Even,
Yeah, but not... Okay, $12 a pack. Okay, let's say we're talking
I've seen
about
that. So that's, less than 10 packs per $100, which means he probably stole only like 30 packages of jerky.
No, probably 40. They probably did not include.
Well, if it's 12, if it's $12, it's less.
And they said
that's only like
$400. But still, if
40
you don't
packs
have
of
a
jerky
bag,
stuffed in your underwear.
Yeah, you're just an average looking young dude. That's a lot of stuff that you're just throwing into your pants or whatever.
Maybe, and there's footage of this, or
there's footage of him coming in and then leaving the store.
And he didn't just like pick up 4 cases of jerky, because that'd be about
no. It's like you don't even see it on him.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet this man.
He's wearing like a hoodie and like some baggy pants, but still. Like what? Like $400 worth of jerky. That's a lot of jerky.
It really is. I'm a little envious of that much jerky.
Here, man. Not jerking around at all. Hi, Max.
All right. So I'm gonna switch to this one because that one is a little less exciting, or somewhat more upsetting. Anyways, so the next thing we get is a woman in Seattle. So this is near and dear to your heart. Called 911. When the pizza restaurant she was at did not have enough sriracha.
Oh, God.
She claimed that the employees were yelling at her and calling her names after she got her order. And the restaurant employees allegedly kicked the 36-year-old woman out of the store after she created this disturbance over the meager sauce offerings. Who puts sriracha on pizza? Is my first question.
Sriracha up here is like...
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the rooster sauce. Damn, folks.
People put the cock sauce on everything up here.
So evidently, police arrived on the scene at 2:15 a.m. Saw what they believed to be 3 intoxicated people roughhousing on the sidewalk. However, they quickly realized that the altercation was something more serious. And apparently, it is...
Are you talking about the same story?
Yeah, like apparently... After the lady got kicked out of the restaurant, a fight broke out with a random passerby who threw a trash can at them.
At the lady?
Yeah. And then it struck an old man with the trash can in the process, and does not explain how. And the police blotter does not explain why all this came together like this. It's fascinating.
Where was this?
I'm trying to find out. It's not entirely clear.
I mean...
It's just one Seattle pizza restaurant. It does not say. It was the Eastern Precinct of Seattle. So, hard to say.
All right. I'm going to go into Chinese medicine now.
Okay.
Do you have dry eyes?
Only when I sleep with my eyes open.
Yeah. Do you sleep with your eyes open that often?
It's a semi-regular event, as it turns out.
Yeah, so evidently,
we don't. I want that to sink in for a minute. How horrifying that is for people that walk in on me sleeping.
We don't. So there's not a good cure for dry eye syndrome.
Oh, it's a syndrome?
Yeah, there's a thing that happens. Like the ducts that produce the liquid don't produce enough of it, or they get blocked up, and there's no good way of reopening up those ducts. That's
Okay.
why people that have like slight dry eye syndrome, they have to flush their eyes a couple times a day just to keep their eyes clean. Like I have to do it before I go to bed and when I wake up.
Okay.
So this barber, he's a street barber, since 1980 has been doing blade wash eyes, which is
What?
basically basically the technique of taking a very sharp razor blade.
Thank you, but no.
And scraping a straight razor along the inside of a customer's eyelid to reopen the moisturization ducts.
Sounds fun. I
Um,
nominate someone else to go first.
would you like to hear a quote from the guy who does it?
Sure.
Okay. And now he's been doing this. He does it for $12.
Yeah, that's
He's
a
62
practical
years
bargain
old.
to have someone razor your eyelids.
He does 8 customers a week. And now I want you to think about the full nature of what I'm about to share with you.
He does 8
This is
customers
for
a week for what did you tell me?
For
$12.
$12.
$12? That's really not
American.
much. Seems like you could squeeze a few more customers in and really milk this into a lot more money.
I don't know. How much does the average Chinese person make a week?
Is this in China or somewhere in America?
This is in China.
Oh, now it makes sense.
All right. Here's his quote. It was difficult at the beginning, but it became a piece of cake afterwards.
What?
Think about that for a moment.
That seems a bit...
So would you want to have been one of this guy's first customers?
No, I don't want to be one of his not the first customers either. I'll take my dry eyes, thank you.
So yeah, he has ophthalmologists that support his work and say that he's most likely what he's doing is he's shaving the openings of the glands that are supposed to be producing what keeps your eyes moist. And as long as he keeps his tools clean and sterile, there shouldn't be a problem.
Thank you, but no.
No thanks.
No thanks, I'm not really interested.
All right. Well, it's your turn.
Well, this one's
That's
less...
what I got. That's my number 2.
This isn't
Eyelid shaver.
isn't as happy a story, right? But there's a heartbreaking video of a starving polar bear, and it's stirring a lot of controversy, right?
Man, that picture is old.
Sure, I'm sure it is.
Go ahead.
But the point is like this thing's been kicking around the internet, and everyone says, look, this polar bears are starving to death of global warming, right?
Yeah.
Which, sure. But it turns out people that know about polar bears say the thing about polar bears is they are basically an apex predator where they live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the things that kill polar bears are drowning by accident, maybe, and basically the polar bear equivalent of old age is eventually you get where you're just incapable of capturing enough food and you starve to death. So malnutrition is the primary cause of death in polar bears and always has been.
Huh.
Right? I mean, because everything dies eventually, and if you're a bear, eventually you're going to get old, and I guess you would turn gray if you were any other color of bear.
Okay.
And so this is not actually an uncommon sight and never has been. In certain parts, occasionally, you'll see a starving polar bear because he's getting old and his teeth aren't as good as they used to be, and it happens. So people running this thing around the internet saying global warming is killing all the polar bears. Apparently, according to the numbers, polar bears are actually doing pretty well as a whole across the globe. But in certain areas, they're in decline because seasonal ice has been acting a little bit weird. So I just,
That's not really a weird or
It weirds me out just
oddball
because
story.
I find it oddball the way it's being presented, though.
Yeah, but that's been like headline news. See, you don't read the news that often.
I read the news every day. I just don't necessarily see all the news every day.
Okay, I give that story a D minus.
It struck me as weird the way it was presented. How it's people are throwing a giant fit over something that's actually technically a common occurrence.
But what if it's from one of those weird areas where the ice sheets are doing weird things, and that could be attributed to global warming? And you have an actual science conversation on your hands.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you a question, Jake. For my last story.
Okay.
Do you want a story about butts or a story about poop?
Butts.
All right. There are two American tourists.
I feel like I made a dangerous choice here.
Brothers. I think they're brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They are named Joseph and Travis. They have an Instagram feed called Traveling Butts. Okay?
Wait.
And
what?
yeah, Traveling Butts. And what they do on their Instagram feed is that they do butt selfies.
So they just travel the world and take pictures of their asses?
Traveling butts, yep. They take pictures of their butts in famous places. And so they were arrested in Bangkok for taking a butt selfie in front of a Buddhist temple.
Sounds about right. They're kind of touchy about their temples there.
Well, they were arrested at the airport. They didn't catch them until they got to the airport. So they got the fine, 5,000 baht.
Which is how many dollars?
Take a guess.
4.
$154.
No, that's not bad. I'd pay that to show my ass to people.
And
No,
let's see here.
I wouldn't do that.
Let's see here. And let's see here. They had 14,000 followers, and the account has been deleted.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's where the story takes a turn for the confusing. You mean over $140 fine-ish, they deleted their Instagram account, which was probably...
They were also being held at an immigration detention center, and they were considering a possible violation of Thailand's Computer Crime Act as the photograph was uploaded online. So I think that was part of the deal.
And now that once they get back into the States, they'll be furiously pounding, undelete, undelete, undelete!
Undelete, we backed everything up, yes. But I think they were like, I think we just committed I think they were like, if you don't delete this, we're going to charge you with the equivalent of a Thailand crime. And I don't know, if I'm an American, I'm not sure if I want to
go to a Thai prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be super healthy for your long-term well-being.
I mean, I'm an explorer. I take a lot of selfies, but I try to be respectful.
Yeah, there was recently an article, some lady, Instagram famous person, took a picture on top of some sacred mountain, probably in Hawaii, naked. And everyone was furious, except for the people that like to look at people naked.
Huh.
And it wasn't lewd or anything. It was in terms of naked photographs, it was fairly tasteful. It was like a rear quarter third shot, so nothing scandalous was particularly exposed, but you could tell she was naked. And I don't know. She probably shouldn't have done that because it's some important sacred mountain and what have you. On the other hand, I'm not entirely sure how someone in their natural state is, sacrilege to the mountain. So I clearly don't understand their religion because I'm not part of it and don't know where it's at actually.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
It just struck me as sort of but why would you do that? When you know it's something very important to someone else. in especially in that nature where it's a completely different culture than yours, you're really treading on some stones you shouldn't at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's just people. I don't know. I'm gonna get philosophical. So read me the next news story while I look for a new one.
It's your turn.
Okay, apparently scalp facials are trending at salons.
Scalp facials?
Beats the shit out of me.
So
So apparently women get facials, then they get their manicure, then they get their hair done, and then their whole body scrubbed. Their hair did. Anyway, their hair done. Anyways.
What? Are you
I
talking
don't
about
know.
their hair?
Yeah.
Oh.
They get their hair done, and then the only thing that's missing is their scalp. Is the quote from the
scalp massage
from the people. So what does this involve? It apparently involves a scrub and a lengthy scalp massage for around $50 to $75, which will supposedly reduce dirt, debris, gunk that clog your follicles. This includes a scalp steam and a blowout, and goes for $250 if you go for the whole shebang.
I don't know. I think I'd do it once.
Yeah, probably. The funny thing is I feel like all my follicles are clogged with the hair that's growing out of it. So I don't know how clogged my scalp follicles could really be.
Well, quite a bit.
They do recommend it for people that have had dandruff or psoriasis. It's very nice for that.
Okay.
Anyways. So, but that still strikes me.
Facial.
They need to come up with a better name for it, because scalp facial is like
kind of sounds like you're gonna put someone's scalp on someone's face.
a little bit.
A little bit.
Yes, it says lovely things like tea tree oil and peppermint and activated charcoal and clay. Typical spa type things.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Well, that's what we got.
What do you got?
No, that's what we got.
Yeah.
That was 3 stories each.
That was 4 stories each, or maybe 5.
No, it's 3 stories each.
Oh, you disqualified my polar bear story?
You only shared 3 stories.
I shared 4.
Okay, what were they again?
There was the polar bear thing.
Polar bear.
There was the surgeon thing.
Surgeon thing.
And what was the other one?
The one that you just shared. Scalp facial.
Nope, the Sriracha thing. The 911 Sriracha call.
Well, I'll throw in there that in Connecticut, people are fighting for personhood for elephants.
That's dumb. Someone in Egypt, an Egyptian singer was sentenced to prison for a racy music video involving a banana.
and I'll go ahead and add on my poop story. The serial pooper of Boulder
is back.
They're now in upstate New York.
Is it the same person? Are they sure?
No.
Because there was security footage.
It's a jogger. It's
different
just
jogger.
Joggers poop everywhere, evidently.
Well, yeah. Have you ever gone running?
Yeah, but come on.
If you go running for a long time, sometimes it affects your intestines in hysterical ways. Look into long distance running, and they'll tell you there's no common decency or pride to be had in long distance running, because eventually you will shit on someone's lawn.
Right, but shouldn't you clean up your own shit?
Possibly. If it's a timed race, you don't have time for that.
No, like in your normal everyday jog.
Yeah, and really, if you find yourself, suddenly having to defecate on the same person's lawn on a weekly basis, try to get that done before you leave the house.
Yeah.
Apparently, a naked man ran into the traffic, crashed into a truck, and jumped on vehicles near the Washington, D.C. airport at Dulles.
Nice.
Public nudity, always good for the news.
Reports of a Sasquatch were evidently reported because of blurry dog cams.
Well, you know what Mitch Hedberg said about the Sasquatch?
What?
Well, he said that Bigfoot is just naturally blurry. That's why there's no good pictures of him.
He lets off just an aura of blur.
Sure. Sounds right to me. Could be.
All right, I'm fine with it.
And apparently some teen inventor has netted more than $40,000 with a line of clothing for horses.
You know what? I'm gonna one last story and then let's wrap up.
I hope that's really what that is.
Jake.
Okay.
The guy who dressed up like a cow walked into a store on all fours and stole how many of it? 400 gallons of milk.
Yeah. And wheeled it out and started giving it away. That's fantastic. I admire that man's chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
Because who does that? Who steals milk and gives it away in front of the very store you stole it from?
That guy.
This guy.
So with all that, also, happy second night of Hanukkah, everybody.
Hanukkah, if you're into that thing. I don't.
All right. So if you enjoyed listening to us today. Oh, wait, Jake, how jaded are you?
Oh, right now, like a 14.
Wait.
Land's sakes. I'm pioneering new positions in jaded.
That's what?
Yes, I am pioneering an entirely new experience in being jaded. What
did you do to yourself?
I'll tell you the story later.
Did you see the Netflix quote?
I did not. Well, let me rephrase. I've seen some Netflix quotes, but I don't know which one you're talking about.
They did a tweet to whomever has watched The Christmas Bride or Christmas Princess. It's a Netflix original movie. It's like a crappy rom-com. Okay? Whomever has to the 53 people that have watched Christmas Bride, Christmas Princess every day for the past 18 days, who hurt you?
Oh, that's a little different.
It's like Netflix did this like last year. They're like, someone watched like something like 1 million times and they called it out on Twitter.
It's like, I'm sure it's someone just figured out a way to script their computer to sit there and play it over and over again.
Yeah, but it's funny that Twitter's like, yeah, we're gonna call this out because it's funny.
Why are you doing this to yourself? Please stop.
We're
sorry we made this.
This movie is terrible.
You know what that does? That makes me want to watch
it. Do it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I have time. Land's sakes.
I'm at a 4. I've had a pretty good week.
I'm on an incredibly tight time budget this week. It'll get better.
4, Jake.
It'll get better. A 4. Land's sakes.
I'm pretty good.
That's excellent.
I'm actually decorating gingerbread men tonight. Yeah.
I ate a gingerbread Santa the other day.
Really? Was it homemade?
No, it was disappointing.
Mine's homemade.
This is why I'm so jaded. I ate a really disappointing gingerbread Santa.
Oh, mine is really sharp, as a gingerbread man should be. I used
extra gingery.
I used not only that, I used a cup of true unsulfured molasses.
Ah, the good stuff.
Yeah.
See, I love gingerbread when it's made right, but I don't know how to. I did eat a lot of beer bread in the last week though, because I learned how to make it, and so I've cooked it 4 or 5 times in 3 days.
I love beer bread.
Yeah, I found a really easy recipe on the internet. It's delicious.
Send it to me. What's your quote?
Okay, a quote for today.
Yep.
Damn it, Murphy. It's from Ringworld.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to quote the great William Shakespeare.
Ah, the Bard.
The Bard. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs.
Ah, the Bard.
Yeah, the Bard. That's from good old Willie Shakespeare.
Good old Willie Shakespeare,
Yeah, good old Willie Shakespeare. Yeah.
Well then, all that being said, if for some reason you liked what you heard here today, remember to follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and other places fine podcasts are pervade. Podbean.
You can also email us at proteuspodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter, Proteus Podcast.
And if you follow us on Twitter, you'll be updated when new podcasts are posted.
Like this one.
Yeah. So all that being said, I've been Jacob.
And I'm still Danielle.
And we have been the Proteus Podcast. Good night, everyone.